But just recently, just because of just the circumstances and natural just vibe of everything, me and a partner of mine, we started a podcast called The Storm NYC. And we didn't want to start it because everybody's doing a podcast. I'm definitely not into clickbait or anything like that, but I wanted to do something that had some real meaning. So I always wanted to do something with St. John's, for St. John's, in some type of way to collab with them, and this was like the perfect way. So basically, we created a business model where we could do a podcast. That could be one of the things that we do, which have been going great. We probably interviewed 15, 20 greats thus far just because of scheduling and stuff like that. But many greats on the way, St. John's greats, but also New York City greats, New York City standouts. So that way we can, cross over the culture. And not only that, we decided like we didn't want to just be basketball or sports related. We want to do like things for the culture. So we've had like Steve Rifkin on, we had the referee Zach Zorber so far, and different people like that. So we wanted to like cross all different genres of things related to New York, the culture, basketball, and everything like that. We just had George Messiah on, who's just like, he's not like a basketball player, but he's in the basketball culture. He does these one-on-ones with people and try, terrorize them. So we just got 1 million views on one of his clips, which is insane to me. So it's just stuff like that. And the business models, as far as, now we have sponsors who want to, give us money to produce this content. So, I mean, we got so much in store that, we just at the surface, and it's real quality content. It's quality. It's like a quality project that, I'm really like passionate about because it just covers so many things. So that's it. That's basically it in a nutshell. And it's doing well right now. And sponsorship is on the way, like literally.
Nice. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, guys, I'm officially recording, and I will have a recording of this podcast for you guys, so that you guys can share it and share it on your YouTube channels and all that good stuff. So, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Roger Maloney, Associate Director for Alumni Career Services. This event is called Careers in Sports, and I have some amazing panelists. But before we get started, I want to introduce Mr. Nicholas Bendikos. He is the Senior Director for the Athletics Department and all around showman and wears the best shoes in the department. He won't tell me what size. He won't tell me where he goes to get them, but I'm going to find out. Nick, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
Roger, thank you. And thank you for participating. Like you said, I am the Senior Director of Athletic Development here at St. John's, so I'm responsible for all of the athletic fundraising for the university. Been a fundraiser for about 25 years now. It's changed a lot. It's a career. Used to be an industry where people would come into from other fields. I graduated from St. John's. I was a sports writer and editor. Came back here, took a career test, and I ended up in fundraising. The industry is very exciting now because you all hear about NIL and revenue share. So we work closely with those other collectives to make sure our student athletes are adequately compensated. And we'll do fundraising, not just for men's basketball, for women's basketball, but for all 17 Division I sports. So Roger, thank you. You're the best. Thank you for having me.
Nick, thank you so much. And he brings in the best chocolates and donuts and bagels, so that's why I stay close to him all the time. And starting with, let's do ladies first. I want to introduce everybody to Ms. Justina Cheat. Justina, tell everybody about your amazing career and your show called Love and Basketball, the TV series.
Okay. Hi, how you doing? So yes, I went to St. John's University like the rest of you guys. Grew up in Brooklyn, then moved to Queens in Hollis. After St. John's, I got my bachelor's and I have my master's, my MBA, and a master's in management and construction also too. But always loved basketball. Since a little girl, I played ballet. I didn't say play. I'm sorry. Dance, ballet. I ran track. What else I did? Gymnastics, and always played handball. Everybody in Queens plays handball. Psh, psh, psh. And then basketball. I know I'm very petite. Well, you can't see me. I'm very petite. I'm only 5'1", but I was a point guard. When I played So I played at Mount Van Buren High School, and then my mother moved. So by the time I got to St. John's, I wouldn't be able to play because I would have to sit out a year. But I did get to play with greats like Malik Sealy, Jason Buchanan. I've been around the coach, the one that passed away, and was there for everything. Jay-Z performing all kinds of stuff, Madison Square Garden, you name it, right? So I had a ball growing up and going to school at St. John's University. And I used to do music with my brother, Big Daddy Kane, who lived down the corner. So I used to like leave St. John's and walk down the corner and hang out with him and Mike Tyson, all these people, you know. So I lived a good life, you know. But growing up, I got into project management, which is construction. I pull permits and things like that. That's what I do for my day job. In my morning job, I do work at universities and schools where I help kids get into college, figure out their career and what they're doing with their life. And then also their first term. And I've also teach business management to graduate and undergraduate also too. As far as the TV show goes, when I left New York and I actually moved to Houston first, and then I moved to Atlanta. When I got to Atlanta, you know, the culture's a little bit different than New York. You know, in New York, we play 1,000 sports, and that's what we do. When I got to Atlanta, I was like, okay, so what do y'all do here? Because everybody was just partying. And for me doing music, I used to be around a lot of these models that were so tall. And I was like, you play basketball or something? They was like, yeah. So I was like, yeah, let's put together a tournament. So I put together this whole big tournament by myself. I had celebrities, I had people performing, I had guys from the Knicks come down, had DJs there. Then Atlanta Hawks, they saw it and they're like, can you come and do this at the halftime show or something like that? And it went from the Atlanta Hawks to the Brooklyn Nets, Miami Heat, Detroit Pistons, you name it. And I had about 400 players. How I had 400 players? Because I had girls in like 10 different cities, you know, and each team, there was about 4 teams because obviously somebody has to play somebody, right? And I managed all these players, and people kept coming up to me because right around that time started growing Atlanta House. I started in 2010. So then Atlanta Housewives came out, and Love and Hip Hop came out, all these shows, and they were like, are you gonna do a show? And I was like, I don't know. That wasn't my goal or idea to do a show, but I guess I had no choice because as a, you know, owning this company and stuff, I would have girls call me and be like, "Oh, my car ran off the road. I can't come to practice. Oh, I missed the game because something happened with my hair and I got cramps today." And listen, the drama can unfold. I had a million stories. So I was like, why not? Why not? You know? So that's how it all began. And then we are here with the TV show, Love and Basketball TV show.
I've seen a couple episodes. It's a really good show, and the college edition is even good too.
So I will tell you this, right? I know you guys all probably watch reality shows or your girlfriend, your wives, or whatever. The difference of this show is that we don't throw drinks, we throw jump shots. Okay, it's about the love.
It's
of
nice.
Basketball.
It's about the love of
not about
basketball.
the
These
That's
ladies
dope.
are
Yeah,
nice too.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's about the
that's
love of
dope.
basketball. It's not about drama. You know, so you
I
won't
love it.
see any. You won't see any of this. What you said? No, it's come on. Let's
Right.
play 1-on-1. All right. Let's
Right.
get to the
Justina, you
court.
coming to the game on the 19th?
You mean the
St.
December
John's?
20th?
Yeah, the 20th, St. John's,
20th.
Kentucky.
Yeah. And you on the Atlanta game, right?
I'm waiting for you to send me the tickets now.
You got it. Hit me up after this. We got your tickets.
Oh, Justina, you listen. My Christmas list just
Hey.
expanded to 20 gigs now.
Because I was
next
so
up-
mad I couldn't get tickets. I was like,
Oh,
what?
Nicholas, she was calling. I will talk about after. She was calling me
we
all kinds of
got you,
stuff.
and Nellie's going to be there too.
The storm will
wow.
definitely be there. And guys, I forgot to mention my guy Tyrone Grant. He's a big part of
Yes.
this. I don't. Yeah, he's he's
Yeah.
the star of the show, really.
Chanel, you're up next. Tell everybody a little bit about your career at St. John's and your journey with you and your partner creating this amazing podcast. You're up next, sir.
Oh, it's me. All right. So sorry, guys. I'm in the athletic. It says Jill Christensen. So I'm sorry about if anybody.
It's all right. It's okay.
Yeah. So no, so basically, with the podcast, Tyrone Grant, who's a big part of this, he's like he's a St. John's graduate himself. He's the best. You know, I met Tyrone actually when I was just leaving St. John's. I was at St. John's from 90 to 94. So those are like the glory years. And yes, Malik Sealy, Jason Buchanan, Coach Connor Seck, I was there. We probably didn't run into each other. But I met Tyrone back then, and me and Tyrone always had this. His character was just the best. But never knew I would get involved in doing anything like this with him. On top of that, me and Tyrone also played together overseas in Europe. We played in Italy and we played in Greece together. So we had like 2 seasons together, and that's what me and him like really bonded. Like I really started to understand him. So you can fast forward all the way here. Ruben Rivera, who's a close friend of mine, also he knows Ty, had this idea. We basically sparked it together, and we was like, we want to do a podcast. It should be you and Tyrone. And the first thing I thought, I said, "Oh man, Tyrone ain't gonna do this." And then not knowing that Ruben had already spoke, because Tyrone is, for me, he's like I'm me, man. I got my experiences, but Tyrone is like a different type of character. And we knew we needed something to have, like, we're doing a podcast. We needed something different, something special. I'm cool. I'm all right. But Tyrone, he's the star of the show. So 2 St. John's graduates combined, 2 alumni, St. John's players, 4 years, both love the school, both do things with the school, have their relationships with different people in the school. We just decided to put this on camera and just see how it goes. We both got the basketball content. That's easy, but we both I think we're both tapped into the culture of all sorts. So that's why we could move across and interview with like other players, not just St. John's players, which the St. John's players is the biggest thing for me, because it's like, we bridging gaps through time as far as like, how we're interviewing different people. We're going back 35 years, then we're interviewing current players, then we're going a little bit. So, and I don't know, it's something that I don't know if anybody done it necessarily like this. No, nobody's done it exactly like this for St. John's. No disrespect to anybody, but me being a St. John's person, I would know that. So we wanted to just put that on, in front of the camera, and it's created a buzz of its own, even within like other colleges and other, I've had friends and former teammates in the NBA. Everybody's reaching out to me now. Yo, I saw this. It's fantastic, and that's what I was afraid of. I was afraid of like people might not accept us, receive us, and it's been just like fully, over 90%. I don't know if I may have heard one comment. Somebody said they're riding off the coattails of Rick Pitino. That's what somebody said, but I don't care. Because it's content, it's necessary content. That's what we like to say.
It is necessary content.
And it has nothing to do about Rick Pitino. This is just
genuine, and nobody can really say, well, they don't know nothing about basketball, or you don't know what you talk, or why are they, nobody can really give us that. So that's the whole thing. But yeah, Tyrone, me, Ruben Rivera, Tyrone Grant is the magic of it, because we all bring our different things. And Tyrone Grant, the other St. John's grad, he's just a huge part of it. Like, it's just to see him grow in his space, it's been great for me. I'm 6 years older than Tyrone. So, but just to see him grow into because Tyrone is doing great work. He has a program called Team First. He's doing so many great things for these kids every single day in different boroughs of New York. It's like he's so humble. Well, he's not really humble, but he's humble about the work he does in that space. So that's been the biggest pleasure, is working with like another St. John's grad doing this project. It's made it so comfortable, because we're like, me and Tyrone are like connected, like genuinely connected, and that's the magic right there of the whole podcast.
I love it. And next up, we have Dr. Andre J. Murray. Andre, tell everybody about introduce yourself and tell us about your amazing organization.
Yeah, first of all, it's amazing to be on with so much amazing St. John's alumni. So congratulations for everybody doing fantastic and amazing things for St. John's and in the community. So real quickly, St. John's was really such a huge factor in a point in time in my life when I got there in 2002. I grew up in the Brooklyn community, playing basketball, and saw basketball as an outlet, as a vehicle for me to now express the love and the passion that I have for it. And it was extremely important for my family, who didn't really have too many college graduates coming up in our family. And I think that gets lost in the piece of when you become a St. John's alum, is that you meet like-minded individuals who are going through the grind and going through the culture and going through, the obstacles of really trying to get to school, right? And a lot of us have to play sports in order to get into prestigious universities. And I think that some people forget the pathway in which we have to go through in order to get to a prestigious university such as St. John's, which is really here in New York, in Queens, New York, which gives us an opportunity now to go with our friends, but also many people who can't get in, but go with people who are really looking to do amazing things in life. And so I've developed many great friendships and relationships through basketball and through people who didn't even play basketball from St. John's University. So I appreciate you guys giving me, an opportunity to speak with like-minded folks. So really quickly, I really want to discuss usually about the A&M Sports Academy program, in which came from my relationship with St. John's University. And so I came into St. John's 2002 looking to come and walk on at St. John's University. And what happened was there was a political scale that a lot of kids have to go through and understand the game of basketball. And I think a lot of kids think it's just getting in, playing basketball. It's not that, right? It's an educational component in which you go there, you got to get through. But it's also, there's a component in which you got to really take heed to the process. And a lot of kids who's going through the process of the game of basketball and the game of college, they don't really understand that the game of life is relationships. And then when you get into school, it's valuing those relationships in situations that can catapult you to the next level, right? And that's really, really key here. And so I derived a program called the A&M Sports Academy program, who taught kids about the business of basketball, right? Who educated them about developing, right? Having the tools to play in high school, prep, and college, right? But also for them to get and play professionally, which is really key for a lot of players growing up in the neighborhoods we grew up in. And so the A&M Sports Academy program, through our 5 key pillars of grit, determination, loyalty, confidence, and respect, teach young men and women how to get through the obstacles and the roller coaster rides in which we go through in sports and in life. And I think that that's extremely important when you're talking about connecting, when you're talking about growing, when you're talking about you 17, as Justina just mentioned, she was 17 coming in partying. We really was like, wow, we thought college was just straight, go to school, and then and after that, whatever happens. But when you having a day party at 12:30, you don't know. There are things that you're going through as a young man and woman that you fully don't understand yet because you're going through that process of life. And so A&M helps individuals, young men and women, go through that process and help them, rely on people of experience, individuals who play the game, but also mentors and people who connect, right? And just think about it like this. How many kids are really going to play collegiately and professionally coming from high school? Not many, right? It's 96.6% of kids who won't even play professionally or collegiately, right? So that 3.4%, the rare 3.4%, that's a rarity right there. So it is a privilege and a responsibility that you have as athletes to now get the message out, as Chanel just mentioned, get the message out, but get with like-minded individuals who are good people, but who can expand that message to young men and women about the obstacles of life and how you're going to get through that, right? And I think that's extremely important when you talk about that. So when you talk about the 96.6%, you're talking about kids who go through depression, right? They're going through anxiety. They're going through all these different things that they know that they never can go through because they lost their coach, they lost their friend, they lost their mentor, all right? And these are really integral pieces of their life of how they're going to grow. Because think about it like this. I had mentors and coaches in my life of growing up in Brooklyn who really helped me and get me to an opportunity where I can get into St. John's, included with my family. So think about that, Justina and Chanel, like the mentors and people who were really pivotal in your life at a moment of time where it could have gone left. It could have gone left.
You could have gone left real quick too. Yes, you can.
Real quick. I mean, growing up in a Brooklyn community, grew up in Foster projects, and in that community where you got to go to the court at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning to get up, and you got to go shoot jump shots because listen, I gotta make a way out. My parents don't have the means necessary to send me to a university that costs $50,000 a year, right? So you try to help these young men and women understand that there are obstacles and sacrifices that you have to make. Some people sacrifice friends. Some people sacrifice social life. Some people don't sacrifice at all, and you see the end result. But for me, growing up with understanding my mentors, it helped me create a safe haven for young men and women now to come develop their game, but also understand that we're going through the same things. The top players go through the same things of the stress, and the bottom feeders go through the same thing as stress. It's just what type of level of sacrifice are you willing to commit to that, and that's what's
That's good.
extremely important.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Now, Justina, I'm gonna ask you this question. You actually decided to take your experiences and put it on television. Tell us and take us through your step-by-step process of developing the business model to creating a basketball reality show with women, and you got it on a streaming platform. Take us through that process.
Okay, actually, what the doctor talked about is 100% true. So the name of the TV show is called Love and Basketball TV show, has nothing to do with the movie. But yes, what happens when you graduate college? What happens when you finish playing college basketball? And we show the side of the woman's side, because you always hear about the men, right? The man
Mm.
went to the NBA, or the man went overseas. But what happens to the woman when she wants to have a kid? Or what happens if she had a divorce? Or what happens if she's
Right,
depressed? Or what happens when she's married and has kids, but she doesn't have any love for herself? What happens if she gets older and doesn't have a husband or doesn't have kids, right? Or she wants to be this athlete, like Serena Williams, and next thing you know, you're 40 or you're 45 trying to have a kid, right? Because you sacrifice all this for the love of basketball. So
mm-hmm.
that's what the TV show is about. To come about the TV show, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was hard, because when you're dealing with a lot of women, and just like you guys, the athletic director, he'll know when you're dealing with a lot of people, the scheduling can be crazy. I wasn't the only writer. The actual writer was Erica Porter, MBA. She's actually on the podcast with us right now. She worked with Steve Harvey. But before I got to her, I mean, I was just all over the place, because you watch all these reality shows and everybody's like, yeah, you should do it like this. You got to have drama. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want. Right. Because everything does not have to be drama. I want to talk about the real life, like how the doctor talked about, because we're real people and we're going through real things. And we all
Right,
play college basketball. I went over to play at Monroe University. And what happens? If because in the mindset, everybody thinks they're gonna go pro, and if you don't
right,
go pro, now what? You know what I'm saying?
right,
And you got to figure it out, and even if you do go pro, only lasts up to about age 30 to 40, man. And not everybody can get to see 40 going pro. Not everybody, okay? Some people have that benefit or that passion, and some people can, and some people can't. But if the average person dies between the ages of 70, 80, or 90, what are you going to do from age 30 all the way to age 80? That's a long stretch. That's 50 years that you have to make money. You can't live with your parents. I mean, you probably could, but I mean, let's just be realistic, right? So,
right,
it's a lot of work. So when I designed the film with Erica and she started writing this stuff, I mean, forget about just the writing part. You got to have the right lighting. You got to have the right camera crew, the right mics, the right
storyline
lenses. You
too.
have to have the drives. You got to have the
Yeah,
location. You got to have the uniforms. You got to have licenses. You got to have permits. You got to have permission. You got to have everybody's schedule, the camera guy's schedule, all the girls schedule, the location schedule, the lighting schedule, the traffic, the rain, the weather, attitudes, all kinds of stuff. Oh, I'm telling you, it's a lot. And then that's just the filming part, right? And then you got to do the editing part. Then you have to do the marketing part. You got to do the promotion part. You got to do the license part, the trademark part. You got to do the part where you get it onto these networks. And one thing I did learn, and the timing is a great timing, because back in the days, everybody would do a film or do music, and you had to go to NBC, or you had to go to Universal, or you had to go to Sony. Now there's hundreds and thousands of channels all over. There's channels you probably never even heard of in your life, right? And then you got YouTube, you got Twitter, you got TikTok, you got all this stuff. There's
right,
so many ways to make money and get your product out there. And I just realized something, that There was a guy, Ice-T, right? Ice-T has been a big rapper and a big actor, and he came out with his own streaming platform. And I was like, well, I'm already on a platform. Why'd I have to be on his? You know why? Because his target market is in the West Coast, right? Everybody's not going to see everything. So, for example, I'm in Atlanta, right? And like he said, I might go to a Hawks game or a Georgia Tech game, but I might not see a St. John's game, right? So there's networks all over the place. And the game is to reach all these different networks so you can get
Right.
all the money, right? You know?
I love it. I love it. I love it. And the show was good too. I've seen it. I sat here one Saturday and watched all the episodes, and Justina was texting me, "Watch what you think. Watch what you think." It was good. It's good. It's really good. Chanel,
No,
I'm
we
gonna
really,
come.
really
Go
touched
ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
a lot of situations, anything you could think of. You know, you guys as men, you know, with your girlfriends or your wives or even your sisters, anything you could think of, you'll probably be like, "Wow, I didn't know about that," or "Wow, I didn't know she was thinking about that." We talk about when I say we talk about everything, we talk about everything.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Nick, this question is for you. A lot of people don't really understand the process of donor relations and the ability of alumni giving back so they can support and create role models like you see on this podcast today. Share a little bit about your experiences, how um, how you actually work to get people to say, hey, donate money to St. John's because it goes to A, B, and C.
Mhm. That's a great question. And Roger, I'm going to paraphrase Dr. Andre, who said it earlier. It's all about relationships. So when we talk about stuff, we talk about relationships determine results. So it's all about networking and spreading the word out there. And you know, if you asked me to ask for a raise or do something for myself, I'd be like, oh God. But as a fundraiser, right now, what I do is I'm an advocate. So I love St. John's. Went to school here. My son, double alum, whole family went here. You know, I remember when Sean L played here. I go all the way back to like, you know, mid 80s when I was a fan to now. So it's easy for me to advocate for the coaches and for our student athletes. But what we need to is like back in the day, fundraising was all about unrestricted money, meaning you gave money to the institution or you gave money to athletics and you guys know what you want to do with it. I trust you. While donors still trust us, they want to know if it's going to bricks and mortar projects like our new practice facility. They want to know if it's going for scholarships or if it's going for mental health awareness and help, you know, travel. So we work specifically with the coaches to find their top 5 needs, and then we just branch out. And then we do everything from, you know, one-on-one solicitations where we'll ask somebody privately. Events, we're very event driven. Anybody tells you you're not event driven, they're lying to you. Uh, e-blasts, mailing, we run the gamut when we travel the country.
I love it. I love it. Chanel, podcasting is big. Everybody has a podcast. Stephen A. Smith has a podcast. Million Dollar Game has a podcast. Oh my gosh. Who else has a podcast that I'm watching? The Breakfast Club. They have radio and podcast going at the same time. Share a little bit about your experiences. You guys are running a successful podcast. Why podcasting was a perfect move for you guys to do.
Well, just coming into this space, and just like Justina was talking about, it's so many different ways that people could, create content and get it out to be seen. And if you got the right relationships, you could be seen by a lot of people. Just like talking about that's we had like a little skit that just had 1 million views. So it's so many different ways. I mean, and the question was again, you was talking about Roger. What was the question again? Sorry.
Oh,
lost
why did you choose
Oh yeah,
podcasting as a vehicle that would be a
yeah.
perfect fit for you guys?
Yeah, but so, it's a new wave, and I'm just finding out now, like, this is like the Goldilocks zone of podcasting now, because sooner or later, you're going to have these big corporations just gobbling up different podcasts because it's getting so popular and people are making a lot of money. like sometimes I look at different podcasts just to try to get better with myself, and I'm just looking at the views, and I'm like, oh my God, I never even heard of this person, and they got like 500K views in like 1 hour, 2 hours. I'm like, who the hell are these people that they could do this? So it's definitely an easier way that you could get content out, especially if it's meaningful and genuine and authentic, and if you know the right, if you find the right different avenues and have the right relationships, you could make it really popular. So that's why we wanted to jump into it, and it's just so much. And we started it because we just thought it was so much content that we could get out of basketball related, New York related, but just culture related, aspects. So that's why we wanted to start it and put it out there. And me being a host, I would never have wanted to do something like this. But just my belief in it, and a strong belief in in my St. John's, the way I feel about St. John's, to do this too as well. Maybe want to put myself out in the forefront, having like a little bit of notoriety in relations to basketball, stuff like that. So I figured, what the hell, and it turns out just it's been one of the better things I've probably done in doing anything, especially business wise. And the business model for it, it's the way we figured it out. It's could be really it could be lucrative to say the least, but it could definitely be like a really good revenue stream where you could do more quality, important projects. So that's the reason why we started it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And Andre, quick question for you. I saw I think it was Odell Beckham. He said that it was so hard for him to survive on you just breaking down his contract, how much he makes, how much and how much things he had to do with agent, all that stuff. Talk to me a little bit about how do you educate the young men in your academy about the business side of basketball and sports.
And that's really important. And just to bring it to a really important, it's the message, right? What are the message that we're disseminating to the young scholars, the young athletes growing up in today's world, where Chanel, is again creating a narrative where a lot of people are watching influencers going to things, watching athletes going to conversations about money. These are really important keys for our young scholars. And one of the many things that I do to bring it just full spectrum is we throw an event every year called the Top Elite Camp, where we allow 150 All-American, really talented players from all over the country to come and teach them about sports, money, mentorship, right? So when we're talking about seeing an athlete such as Odell Beckham, where he's coming, he's talking about football, and tomorrow he has to make $10 million a year just to upkeep his living. You're now talking about financial management. So we've partnered with Merrill Lynch and Mike Cannon to talk about financial management to a lot of the young scholars, a lot of the young athletes growing up in the world today, where they're getting these NIL opportunities, where they're getting hundreds and thousands of dollars, some even millions, depending on your 4 and 5 star status. And now you're talking about being the breadwinner for your family at 16, at 17. Who could think about that, right? Who could really take heed to that? So you need mentorship. You need people to honestly give you the right message to help you understand what is the worth of your money. How much taxes are you paying on a dollar? What can you do? How much equity can you put? What properties to buy? How to utilize your money for the long term. I think these are really, really outstanding issues, especially in our community, where we're trying to educate the athlete just about how to save for the future. So these are some of the really interesting key pieces that I've allowed my academy to now talk about the investment and talk about the long-term outstanding needs that you need to have when you're getting this money from these NIL sponsors and boosters and colleges right now.
I love it. Justina, in one of your episodes of Love and Basketball TV series, you have an amazingly good relationship with your parents. Tell me a little bit about how your parents inspired you and keep you motivated and focused. When you watch the show, she has an episode where she's talking to you was talking to your mom and dad about all the trials and tribulations of what you're going through. How important is that family unit, especially when you're doing an endeavor like a reality television show, and why you wanted to put that as one of the episodes that was so key to you?
Well, because the show, Love and Basketball is talking about, deep issues that women are going through. I noticed that we had one girl that was on the show and she had a baby and dated and was engaged to a guy that played in the NBA. And then he went overseas. There was a lot of cheating that was going on. There was a lot of fighting that was going on. And then she stopped messing with him and then she got with somebody that had nothing to do with athletics, right? But it was still kind of the same thing going on. So it's good sometimes to talk to someone that's older to see what they go through, right? Because as a young girl or even a young guy, most people will say, oh, well, it's okay to cheat, or oh, it's okay to fight, because that's what they see. That's what the norm is, right? And even when it comes to athletes, they feel like that's the norm. My
Right.
godfather, Mel Pender, is an Olympian. I mean a great Olympian, right? So and has been there, and he sat there on the show and he expressed that no, he did not cheat on his wife, and no, he never fought his wife. So sometimes you need to hear that to see that and understand that no, there are men out there that don't cheat. There are men out there that don't fight. I mean, you know, you have people that'll say, everybody cheats. That's just the name of the game, but we don't know what happens behind the doors. But for to have someone to say that and to be an athlete or to be a very, popular man, or a respectful man, a stable man, and for them to say that means a lot for young women and even young men, because now they can look up and say like, oh wow, okay, so I don't have to cheat. I don't have to fight. Like that's not what it is. And then there was another scene that you might not have seen, that we talk about young boys. When young boys are um 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they love their mother. They love their mother, cling to their mother. This is my mommy, it's my mommy. But then as they get older, they want to fight girls and they want to fight women.
Mm.
So my thing in that episode, we were saying, well, if these boys love their mother so much, why do they want to fight women? And I'm not going to tell you what we said or what they said, because you got to watch the show, right? But it's it's a lot of things where you want to get someone. Mel Pender is 88 years old right now. He just had a birthday, right? So he has a lot of history and has been through things. I believe he was married fourth. This is his fourth wife. So he has a lot of
Mm.
experience. And sometimes, most people, they don't want to hear what older people have to say. But sometimes you do have to hear what they have to say because they have the experience.
Mm.
I love it. And this is an open question for all you guys on the panel. There are alumni who I talk to every day looking for jobs in sports, in sports and entertainment. You could anybody. So now you could. I'm gonna kick it off with you, and then I'm gonna go do a quick round robin. Even you, Nick. Um, what advice do you have for anyone in this market who is trying to find a job or create a an entity or for themselves so that they could stay in the genre of sports that they love? What advice would you have for an alumni who is interested and want to do what you're doing?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I just remember a time, maybe probably 18 years ago, right? I was like in the midst of finishing playing basketball and just looking for what I was going to do next. I did try to be an entrepreneur in another business, the recording studio business, while partnering up with some other friends, and it started off great, it didn't work out. But I was looking for something like more concrete as far as employment. So my whole thing was I wanted to get a further my education. So it happened that so I wanted to get my master's. So it just happened that I found this program. It was for to become a licensed educator. It was in New York City, and I did the program and got my first master's and got a job in the field of education at the same time because I was just looking for something like more concrete, and that turned into with the basketball was attached to it. I was able to stay attached to basketball, and by staying attached to basketball, I was able to like just use my resources, like my relationships, the people I knew, to like just stay connected, and it just led up to everything. I could have actually coached at St. Francis as for basketball program when they had a program back in the days, but they they wasn't paying, so I had to do something else. I couldn't work for free, but just understanding what you want to do, use your relationships. If it's something in your gut or in the heart that you really want to do and you're passionate about, there's probably like different programs or different resources, especially in sports, especially if you're connected to like, with St. John's, it was so easy. And that's another thing. Just going, coming from New York, I'm from Harlem, and just being in New York and going to St. John's, I didn't realize that my relationships were so vast, that just with different people. And if I didn't know somebody, I knew somebody that knew somebody, but I was just passionate about, whatever goals I wanted to do, I was just passionate about it. So I got connected to education, I got connected to athletics, and it's just stayed, throughout since I finished playing ball. It just seems like because I went to St. John's, I had all these different relationships here in New York, and there was so many different avenues. So my biggest thing would just be passionate about, what are your goals? Be passionate about your goals, and utilize all the resources that are attached to that, because there's so many different things that you might not even know of. And I didn't know I was going to be in a position that I'm in now. But it was just like, really just utilizing my relationships and being passionate about my goals.
I love it. I love it. Nick, quick question for you. We get a lot of graduate students in the office, and what advice do you give for students in terms of, or graduate students in terms of, hey, I'm looking to work in this area of sports or that area of sports, and helping them like really use the St. John's network to like help them get opportunities. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, first, the easiest answer to that is they need to connect with you because you know everybody, and as an alumni relations guy, you hook everybody up. For our graduate assistants, when we take great pride in our graduate assistants in red white, because we get to meet influential alumni donors who have a real passion for St. John. So our GAs are basically part of the staff because we're all short staffed here. So what we look for is during the interview process, what do they want to do? And then with the vast St. John's network, we try to introduce them to whomever it is. Like we have a young lady now that wants to be, she's going to eventually be a general manager in the NBA, WNBA. So she's got a couple of mentors from our alumni base. So we just try to connect them, keep it in the St. John's family.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Murray, same question for you.
Sure.
What advice did you give, or what things that? Because I know you're a part. We met through an association called the National Society for Leadership and Success. How do you like keep what advice you have for alumni looking to either work
Yeah.
looking for a job or
Yeah.
creating your own avenue like you did?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is your passion and your purpose. And I think that whatever your passion is, you have to have a purpose behind that. And I think when you are able to establish that and then understand where you're headed at in life, because the most entrepreneurship is about creating a niche, right? Creating a narrative for your business, for your leadway. And I think most of it is God sent as well. The Lord puts us human beings on the world for certain aspects for kids. I know that the kids business wasn't always aligned with what I wanted to do, but the Lord kept calling me, and that was my purpose in life. And then it turned into a passion where now I'm leading many kids into prep schools, into colleges, and then professional teams. And so it created a pathway for me now to stay connected to the game of basketball, which I love. But now also I'm connected to families. So I'm mentoring kids, right? You're helping kids and you're saving lives. And so I think that a lot of our alumni and a lot of our young men and women, they need to create a passion and a purpose in their life of how to either stay relevant with who you are, right? Don't give up so much of yourself, but stay positive and aligned to who you are and keep that purpose, just be purposeful, right? We always talk about that word intentional, right? Be purposeful as well, right? So I think that it's important for us as alumni also to support them, right? Maybe you don't know what you want to be at 18 and 19. That's why the grad assistant program is out there, and I think allowing the mistakes to happen, but also developing that pace of what you know, just passion and purpose is very important.
Love it. Justin, this is question is for you, and then we're gonna open it up for any Q&A. Same question to you. What advice, or maybe something that you learned along the way with you developing your brand and image, how did you figure out, listen, this is what something I want to do. You know what? I'm just gonna create my own TV show and show them what I want to do.
Well, I'm glad that you asked that question. So, like I said, in the morning, I am a senior advisor. I do help people get to college and careers. So, the first thing I would say is because I have so many kids that come to me and they're like, I want to do 50,000 things. So, you need to one narrow it down. Okay. There's nothing wrong with doing a lot of things, and there's nothing wrong with trying different things, but it has to make sense, right? You can't be a dentist and be a surgeon. I mean, you could be a dental surgeon, but you can't be a plumber and be a doctor at the same time. Like you could, but it just, in reality, there's not that many hours in the day. There's not that
Right.
many colleges. There's not that much money to go around. So you just have to narrow things down. Once you narrow that down, right, it has to make sense. For instance, I had a lady come to me and she said, I want to open up a group home in New Jersey. It's going to cost 2 million, right? But if you open up a home and you buy a business, you have to have 20%, which is going to be 200,000. So if you don't have the 200,000, then obviously that's going to be kind of rough. Could you get grants? You probably could, but it's probably going to take a lot of time and you're going to need a lot of staff and things like that. So it has to make sense. Then the last thing is that research, research, research. We're in the world right now where you got Chat GPT, you got minutes, you got so much stuff. Every night before I go to bed, I spend at least an hour just doing research on different ways that I can make money, right? So if you think about it as far as sports go, next time as a student, as an adult or a kid, don't go to the game just to watch the game. Watch your surroundings from the parking lot. um we didn't know this growing up as kids, but everything is a vendor. Everything is basically out, right? So think about it. The parking lot attendants, right? They don't belong to the arena. They're probably getting paid out, right? You have the actual posts, the beams that are out, the ground, the vendors that are outside, the vendors that are inside. Somebody made all those flyers, like how Nicholas has the banner in the back. A company had made that. When it comes down to digital work, like even payroll, even getting different athletes in there, agents, you got the bathrooms, you got outdoor sports, you got porta potties, you got the
Hmm.
memes, you got someone doing social media. There's so many jobs, but the key is not to look for a job, but to make a job. You got to make your own business, because I'm going to be honest with you. If you think you're going to go to the Knicks or the Brooklyn Nets and you're going to stand in line after college and be like, hey, I'm here online, like when they have those big things and everybody goes and they give you free tickets to the game, it's just as hard to get a job in the NBA as being a player in the NBA, right? Each corporate America probably only has 500 people working in the staff, right? And so every year they're probably going to hire maybe 100, maybe 20 people. And you got to think, in New York alone, you got people coming from New Jersey, Philly, DC, Connecticut, Boston, London, Canada. All of these people coming. You got kids that are 18, 19. You got old folks coming, and they all want this job at the Knicks, right? Everybody wants to work to the Knicks or the NBA, or they want to come work for St. John's University, right? But it's impossible because there's not enough space, there's not enough time. But why not? Right? Maybe come up with an idea. Maybe come up with basketball ties, or maybe basketball cups, or maybe come up with something. Just, you got to use your brain. If you're in college for 4 years and you got your bachelor's degree, sit down just the same way, like we're on a Zoom. A person made
Right.
that. There wasn't a Zoom 10 years ago. Just like Facebook, somebody made that. Instagram, somebody made that. So when you're going to school and you're sitting down with all these and you're like, oh, he's smart. Well, guess what? Get with him, because he's smart. He's in IT and he's over here marketing and he's in listen, and get together, because guess what? The best business to make is a business that doesn't cost anything, right? Nothing. Think about it. Facebook, I don't even know how much they spent, but they probably didn't spend nothing, you know?
I love
And if
it.
you can't get the money from your parents, get it from somebody. The bet when you're in college, that's the best time to get money. That's
It's the
the best
best
time to get
time.
scholarships. That's the best time to get grants. Because once you hit 30 is over.
It's over.
Nobody's
Wait,
giving
hold on.
you
You
free.
said once you're 30, it's over. It's a wrap.
Well,
It's over.
nobody's giving you free money like that. Scholarships are meant for kids to come out of high school and go to college, right? And you get
Right.
your first chance to get your associates or your bachelor's. Then you get one more chance for your master's. You might get another chance for your PhD, medical school, and all that. Because I spoke to a doctor friend of mine. I'm like, how did you pay for your school? He said he actually got 2 grants that paid for his medical school. So, but after that, yeah, it's over. Like, yeah, there's no more free money unless you apply for grants. So, and it's hard, because there's millions of people, but you got to come up with something. You got to be creative. You might have to work your 9 to 5, and you might have to have your business, and your hobby might turn into being your business. But I will leave you with this, right? There's a website that I always use is called ONET Online, real simple, onetonline.org, I believe it is. At the top right, it says occupation. You can put anything in there. I don't know, sports manager, agent, the people that lay down the ground so they could play basketball. They switch it for the ice skating and everything like that. They pay somebody for that, They pay for somebody for that. You put that in there and scroll all the way down, and it's going to tell you each state how much these people are making, what's the trend, how much they're going to make in 5 years, what kind of education you need, and then it will also tell you all the occupations that's similar to it, you know and that's the research you got to do. You got to come and think about, like, damn, how can I make money? What can I do? Because it's hard. Growing up, we only knew to be like a doctor or a lawyer or something. We didn't know anything.
Mm.
Now you got people working as an agent, a
You got doctor,
podcaster.
lawyer, or accountant.
Right.
Mhm.
But there's so many. I mean, there you got YouTubers making millions of dollars. There's so many things to do. And even though, like, there's a girl, actually, K Nicole. Actually, her picture's right here, right? And she works with the guy. I don't know, I forgot his name. He's on the YouTuber, the dark skin guy, and she's on his team, right? So you don't always have to be that person, but you could be a part of that person or on a group or that person, or bring something to the table, right? And you got to bring something to the table in order to make money. Because let me tell you something, it's not saying it's hard out here, but you can just work a regular 9 to 5 job as a manager. Yes, you can. But if you really want to make over 6 figures, you got to really figure that out, because only person that comes out of high school and makes 6 figures are usually either athletes or singers, even doctors, even lawyers. After they go to medical school, they start at the bottom. They work the graveyard shift and they might make 60, 70, or 80,000, but they got to work their way up. And I think sometimes students, they get this dream where they're like, yeah, I'm going to law school and I'm going to be making 300,000. Nah,
Right.
it
Take time.
don't
Yeah.
work like
No,
that.
it's a
Mhm.
lot. It's a lot.
It
It's a
You know
takes
what
lot.
I'm
time.
It's a
saying?
lot. It takes time.
So
It
in
takes
the
time.
meantime, in the between time, you gotta make a job, make a business, and make something happen.
That's
You know?
And the next
that's the
time,
truth.
Justina, you're on, you have to come with some rhymes because you did mention that you used to rhyme with Big Daddy Tank. You thought I forgot about that, but I'm gonna keep that. I'm gonna keep that to myself. Um One thing
The
I
only
want to
thing I'm gonna
say,
be wrapping is some Christmas gifts because
you're
it's
funny.
December.
You're funny. I love it. I love it. Last question. What does St. John's mean to everyone? What has where? That's the last question. What does St. John's mean to you? And what does being at St. John's helped you out in your life experiences, in your professional life? Anybody can take it. I'm open. Go ahead.
I'll, I'll I'll take it first. You're gonna go shut down gas, y'all now.
No, go ahead, Doc. Go ahead, Doc.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
So St. John's was an unbelievable experience for me. It taught me a lot. It helped me create a safe haven for athletes, young black men and women, who allowed them an opportunity to see figures in our community make it and be successful. It was really important for me to develop that, and through St. John's, seeing like-minded individuals through St. John's, it helped create a platform for me now to where we're a part of partnering out with Cap Athletics, now developing and now building our own gym on 229 Livingston Street, right down the block from the Barclays. And so now we'll open up a safe haven. We'll open up a classroom for young men and women. We're doing track and field. We're doing all types of things that creates a saving for kids. So that's really important. And St. John's helped me really understand what I wanted, what was my purpose and passion and mission in life, just being around that atmosphere and seeing individuals who really guided and focused. And that was extremely important. And then also allowing kids opportunities for life after sports, right? Like I mentioned, 96.6% of the kids, they're really not going to play collegiately, right? They're not going to play professionally, but they will go to college. So what do, right? We provided a high school called Loop, Leaders of Our People, to allow them now to come in and be a part of a post-high school athletic basketball class that helped them out as well. So St. John's, again, really was really integral and a part of my life where it helped me understand what the passion and the focus was. And then it helped me establish really those really connections and relationships that helps build, for a lifetime, such as we're doing right now.
Thank you so much. Chanel, you up next at bat.
I could piggyback on Dr. RJ. First of all, my day job is in Brooklyn. I'm working Park Slope, so don't get my contact. I'll be willing.
Let's do it.
Let's
connect.
St. John's tag team, because you talk my language, especially when it's coming to enhance the lives of the young kids. But St. John's has truly meant everything to me. I just hold it so dear to my heart. Just all my relationships have been so valuable to me throughout my life. I entered that school a long time ago, more than 3 decades ago. I entered like a young boy, and I exited like a man, as far as like with my knowledge and everything like that. And the relationships have been so helpful. Just I could Coach Conaseca, you could say Nick Vendico is right here. I mean, you, Roger, so many others. Jill Christensen, who's the director of sports medicine at St. John's. Just my personal. My closest friends have been from St. John's. My ex-wife, my kids' mother, my kids are St. John's babies. Just so much. This school, the education that allowed things to be easier for me later. I didn't know that I would need. I never thought I'd go back to grad school. I mean, I went back to grad school twice actually. I've been blessed to receive 2 master's degrees. So it's been so much for me. This school, this institution in New York City. It's everything. It's a big part of my identity. I didn't know how much I loved it really until recently, because I think a couple of years I was not coming, but I didn't realize how much it was into me. But it's just such a big passion of mine. St. John's, it's just meant everything to me. But I'm telling you, and all the students or the alumni or everybody on this panel, and everybody on this this link, that utilize your resources, especially coming through this place. It's so much. The best part about it is New York City. We have so much here, and I didn't realize that until much later. But I'm glad that I found it out right now. Nick Vendico. So I didn't even know Nick was here. He was a good friend of Tyrone, and it's just like 2-3 years ago, Nick. We just and it's just been like a blessing, even to know him, and so it's so much. Utilize your resources here. This place is a special place. It's a special place. I could just say that.
Come on, Justina, you up next, and then we're gonna close it out with Nick.
So yeah, like I said, when I got to St. John's, I was 17, and I was just like, wow. The campus was so big. It was just amazing. My motto is think big, and that just gave me the encouragement and the motivation to do big things in life. I just thinking on a bigger level. And I love the fact that we had a lot of different cultures. I got to meet a lot of different people, a lot of different friends. And just being there, it's like a part, and I look back and I'm like, I'm glad that I went to that school and not just, any other school. Then, I remember I used to say, this is the number 13 school in America. What? I go to St. John's University, and I mean, you get bragging rights. I live in the South, and sometimes I would go to, different jobs and stuff, and people would have on all their, fraternity stuff and their schools, and I'd be like, yeah, well, I went to St. John's University, and they really can't say nothing about that because it holds a lot of weight. and they know what it is. They know what time it is, right? They know that we're not playing, and St. John's is going to be around forever. It's not going to be one of those schools that close down and lose their credentials. So it's
Right.
always going to be around. I like the slogan, think big. Y'all can use that if y'all want to. Um, but yeah, I I remember one time there's a mechanic that I go to here in Atlanta. He's from Queens and he's Jamaican. And sometimes the Jamaican rude boy, and they're just like, oh, rah, 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 rah. They say rah, 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 rah. And but every time I come there and I sit there, and he has these customers that always need help, and I'm always telling them about stuff. I did study paralegal at Emory University, and I'm telling them stuff. And one day he was just like, you know what, he's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. He said, you're pretty smart. He said, only you, and there's another guy, Lav, that I went to school with. Lav is the only person I know from the whole entire hood that went to St. John's University. Y'all went to the best university in New York that I know of. And I was just like, wow. Because if someone from Jamaica tells you something, you're just like, wow. Because
Yeah,
they giving you
it's official.
It's the fraternity.
right.
Yeah, it's the
They're bigging you
fraternity.
up, you like, oh wow.
Yeah.
It's one of the how you have the Jamaican mother or the Jamaican father. They never say nothing. No, you didn't say nothing. They never say nothing, right? So if they say something, you're like, wow, I did something good.
I love it. I love
But
it. I love it.
it's a good feeling. It's something that you could pass on to your kids and stuff like that.
Right.
My son is only 7, so maybe in 10 years, who knows? He doesn't play basketball, he plays baseball, but maybe he might come there and help y'all out.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Come on, Nick, take us home.
All I have to say is like St. John's, like everybody here said, St. John's is family to me. Like I've been here since '88. All my friends are St. John's people. We all come from diverse backgrounds, but we all have one thing in common. No one gave us anything. We all work hard. We're all grinders, and we all look out for one another. So I can't repay. I come from a single mom. I can't repay everything that she did for me or what St. John's has done for me, but I just try to pass it along. So this is a special place.
Thank you guys so much. Listen, this was amazing. I just want to thank Dr. Murray,
Yes.
Chanel Scott, and
Wait, Roger.
please,
Roger,
yes, sir.
before you get into that, I'm so sorry. I forgot the best thing about St. John's is my wife.
Come
and I
on,
both
man.
went to
Wait,
St.
hold on a second.
John's.
You was about to mess up. You was about to mess up Christmas because she's gonna see this
Oh my
recording,
goodness.
and she was like, "You ain't
The-
thank me."
No. I was just listening to Chanel, man, and I was gonna say it, I forgot. And listen, that's the best part of St. John's was really meeting my wife Tiffany, who killed it at St. John's. She had a 4.0. She really encouraged me as well to step it up in education and really her ambition, her determination, her focus. And so she's really a huge part. And that's why I say, with Nicholas and Chanel and Justina, it's all about that family, that camaraderie, and the people you meet. And so shout out to my wife, Tiffany Murray. All right. Love you, baby.
Definitely.
All right. And my two
Woo!
girls.
Christmas was about to be tight, boy. Oh my gosh!
You saved the best for
I like
last,
that.
though. Saved the best
That's
for
that
last.
shot. That's that last shot.
That's
That's
that
that
last
Steph Curry.
shot.
That's that Steph Curry shot, boy. Thank you all for joining me today. My name is Roger Maloney, Associate Director for Alumni Career Services. Alumni Career Services, it's been a year since I've been at St. John to really help support and give alumni who are job seeking and looking for different career avenues, help support through resume coaching, interview prep. We do a lot of career workshops like this. I think also, please, we have an amazing campaign called Hearts on Fire. If we could definitely reach out to Nicholas. He'll give you all the information. It's on our website. You see the results of what St. John's does for individuals. And I just want to say thank you guys for joining me today. And Justina, shout out where we can see your show. We want to support you. And everybody, please
Yes.
shout out your websites and your information.
Yes.
Justina, you go first. Go ahead.
Okay, so my Instagram is Justina Chichi, which is Chichi. Chi is short for Chinyere, which is my Nigerian name. I'm half Nigerian and Irish. If you want to watch the show, you can definitely give me a DM or email because, like I said, we're coming out with the college edition, and I definitely need to get with Nicholas because with the college
Yes.
edition, I need to get certain permission to use certain things, and the goal is to have the alumni make donations to the women's basketball team.
Joey
See?
T's my boy. We got this.
All right. So yeah, if you want to Justina Chichi, and I do have an email which is Love and Basketball TV Show at gmail.com.
Chanel, you got next, sir.
Yes, you can. More. Yes, so you can check us. We on all platforms, but you can check us our episodes out on the Storm NYC YouTube. If you do that, please subscribe. But we on YouTube, Facebook. You can check us on any the social media platforms, X, TikTok. We're on everything. If there's any like questions or we're definitely looking for social media people. If anybody know that, please you could DM us. My boy Ruben will be there to he'll respond to you. You don't have nothing to worry about. So the Storm NYC on all platforms. Check us out. Subscribe to us.
Come on, Dr. Murray, tell us a little bit about
Yes,
how we
sir.
can get in contact you if we have some young people that want to be a part of what you're doing.
Yes, so we're all on all platforms as well, but mainly Instagram. You can follow us at A&M Sports Academy, AM Sports Academy, Sports with an S. Also Cap Athletics, strength and conditioning coordinator. Shout out to Justin Cadet. We do have the gym opening in 2 weeks, and then we will have a podcast with Dr. Andre and Tiffany Murray, St. John's alum as well. And so we will have an IG for that as well. And www.anmsportsacademy.com. Look out for more information as we have tons of college players, prep school announcements, and wanted to officially make an announcement that St. John's will be a partner in our next grassroots event coming up in August 1st, where we will have the top freshman and sophomore players in the country there at St. John's University at Carnesecca Hall. So we're bringing it all full, just coming, bringing everything here. All the top players in New York City is that we host. So we're definitely blessed, and we want to just keep on bringing our alumni closer and closer, and then we'll definitely connect on all platforms.
Thank you guys so much.
Right.
This will be recorded. I will reshare this video with everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank all my guests, and I'm greatly appreciative. I just want everybody to have a Merry Christmas and happy holidays. And Justina, I did write down that idea about those basketball ties. You thought I forgot. We're about to make some money. Now, which team are we gonna do first? We doing the Knicks or we doing are we doing Golden State?
Well, I was going to tell you, one of the producers did put the link to the TV show in the chat, so anybody want it grabs, it's there. Now what were you saying?
We're doing the basketball ties. I like that idea. I like that. That's a cute idea. I like that. I like that idea.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, and so as far as products, so let me just give you a FYI as far as products and trademark anyway. So we could just use I don't know if the St. John's would get mad, but we could just use St. John's for example. So Johnny's, right? You can't trademark the word Johnny because it's a person's name, right? And so if somebody wanted to come out with ties and called it the Johns or the Johnnies and spelled the Johnnies different and had like some different colors or whatever, they could, So when it comes to business and marketing and advertisement, just open up your mind and do things. College is like the biggest avenue because there's like how many people there? How many people there at the school?
We got
Thousands.
Yeah.
And then even in New York alone, there's 12 million people. There's no way a person should not be able to make money in New York.
That's right.
Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate you.
Thank you, Roger. Great job, man.
All right. Thank you,
man.
Roger.
Thank you,
we appreciate everything.
Thank you, everybody.
Let's connect,
Nick,
everybody. All right.
All right, guys.
I'll see you soon. Justina, we're going to see you in 2 weeks.
You still got
So
people
well.
asking questions or no?
God bless.
I have one question. One young lady asked, looking back, what did you wish that you'd known before entering the sports industry? That's from Ashley. Ashley asked that question. Looking back, what's one thing you wish you known before you entered sports?
I could definitely tell you, but I had no control. I tell you, when I was 16, 17, my mother moved. And when she moved, right, obviously I lost my scholarship, so I wasn't able to play basketball where I wanted to play. And that's a good thing that the doctor has that program, because there's a lot. Sometimes you have to sit out when you transfer. Sometimes if you don't have a great GPA, you got to sit out. It's a whole bunch of rules and regulations of playing basketball when it comes to college than just playing basketball that kids don't know. I mean, I had high school last year at the high school that I worked at. I had so many kids. I mean, they were so good, but
Yeah.
grades were just horrible. And I'm like, your scholarships are based on your GPA, right? So the higher your GPA, the more money you get. The better your film. I would have students send me their film, and I'm like, what is this? Like, it's so much technology. There's an app right now that can follow you while you're playing basketball, right? And you're sending me a tape. I don't even know who you are, but you're sitting right here next to me, and I'm looking at you, and I'm looking at the tape. If I don't know who you are, then the coaches don't know who you are. How you
Right.
expect to get recruited? You know what I'm
Hey.
saying? So it's very important for them to use everything that they can use today to get where they need to be tomorrow.
Thank you for
I'm a
answering
high
that
school
question.
basketball coach, and Doc and Justina, you guys are so accurate. I can't even say nothing behind both what the things y'all guys were talking about. It's just as you say.
Yep.
I'm gonna
You know,
I'm gonna connect you guys. You guys already connected even, but I'm gonna do a
already
reintroduction so you
connected.
guys could you keep
Yes.
connected again. Thank you guys for joining
Thank
me
you,
and have
guys.
a great afternoon.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure. It's an honor.
Watch
Yeah.
the show
I got-
tonight. All right.
I'm
Don't
gonna
forget to
watch
watch
it.
the show
I'm
tonight.
watching it.
Where's it on?
I know
Where's
y'all
it
not
on
watching
again?
Puff
Where's
Daddy
it
no
on,
more, so
Justina?
watch the show.
No.
It's on
Justina.
Afroland. It's on Afroland TV. It's on
in the
Afroland
chat.
TV. Dre.
Afroland?
All right.
Yes, I'm gonna send you
Okay,
the link.
got
I
it.
got the
is
link.
in the chat.
Please send the link. All right.
Okay.
So
All
you
right,
go to
y'all.
definitely
Afroland
connect.
TV. You type in search, and then you type in Love and Basketball. But the link
She
is
got-
actually in the chat.
She got prominent.
Gotcha.
She's right in the front. Ooh,
I like it.
ooh.
I like it.
So now
like it.
I'm gonna send my information in the chat so that way we'll reach out, brother.
I'm
All
gonna
right?
and I'm gonna send
Okay.
it in the
Definitely.
email again too. Send it to me in
Justina,
the
see
email.
you
I
in
need you
Atlanta.
to get on that podcast.
Yes,
That's
see you in
right.
Atlanta.
When
We
we
gonna
gonna
be
do the
down there.
podcast?
So I see you in Atlanta. So I'll be at the game. So make sure you at the
Okay.
game. We'll link at the game.
That's even great. So you want to do the podcast when you come down here?
Well, we're doing Walter Berry. We're doing Walter. You might want to come to that.
Oh.
We're doing Walter Berry
Oh.
in Atlanta on Friday night, the 19th.
Okay.
So make sure you get my
Oh.
contact and everything like that, and I'll make sure I get you so we got hit you up.
Walter
Let you
Berry
know.
live in Atlanta now? Walter Berry
He lives in Atlanta.
now?
Yeah,
That's dope.
He lives in Atlanta.
Walter's
He's
that's
picked
my
me up
guy,
from the
man.
airport. He's picked me
Yo,
up from the
that's
airport.
dope,
So
man.
Okay.
Walter,
yeah, so
that's
we're
dope,
going
man.
Friday night. So Justina, I'll send you. I'll let you know what's good. I'll do everything.
Okay. Well,
Justina, I'm
do
making
you know
my
where,
Justina.
you know where
Justina, I'm
Jason
making my
Buchanan is?
Christmas list because I see a lot of things moving.
No, he's in
My list is up
Syracuse,
to
I
20
think.
now.
He's in Syracuse. I think. I think he's in Syracuse still.
Okay. Let
I
me
haven't
tell you,
spoken to
after
him in a while.
class, I used to come to the gym faithfully every day after class.
I think I remember. I think you may. I don't know. I think I don't know if you.
I'll show you some back in the days pictures. I have
Okay,
life
okay.
My hair's
And then
long.
we're gonna get her. We're gonna get her to play some rhymes because she
Yo.
needs to open up for Wu-Tang and Big Daddy Kane.
Don't
I
say
read-
that.
I read
Don't
the
say
Bible.
that. Don't say that.
Yeah,
Don't
Dre,
say
it's
that.
true. Dre,
The
we're gonna
Wu-Tang
get a
is
rhyme.
dope.
She over there shaking her
That's
head.
dope.
I want to see. I read the bio and listen, she running from it, but I'm gonna get her back outside.
Yo, that's dope, though,
Raekwon
man.
and Mobb Deep
That's
just
dope.
had a show. They
Yeah,
just had
I
a
Well,
show in New York
I was just
yesterday.
talking to Steve Rifkin today, earlier today, like an hour, like the hour, 2 hours
Yeah.
before. I was talking to Steve Rifkin. He was a guest on our show, but we're intertwined with him right now, so that's a good thing.
Chanel,
Well, we need to do
Chanel,
a soundtrack for the TV show.
Yeah.
So hook that up.
We're gonna
Yeah,
talk.
so-
We're gonna talk.
all right. Well, I'm
All
gonna
right,
throw you
guys.
somebody from Def Jam too, Chanel. That's our music partner in all the
Okay.
events. So
Let's-
so there's a guy's a VP of Def Jam that I think
Okay.
would
That's
pretty
fine.
dope on the podcast.
No
That's
doubt.
Eric Paula. So he's the
No
VP
doubt.
of Def Jam music, marketing and promotion. So that's a good
Okay,
guy.
let's go. Oh, he don't know because you came in late. So season 2, we're gonna do it in New York.
Ooh. No
And
doubt.
we definitely let's
Maybe we'll
definitely
have
get that.
Tiffany on the show.
You know you could get Tiff. Tiff ain't no joke.
Oh,
God
man.
bless y'all.
All right,
we'll
guys.
connect.
I'll speak
Thank
to
you,
everybody
everybody.
soon. I want everybody contact. All right.
Yes, you
I'm
got
gonna
it.
share everybody's contact in the
All right.
email. I got y'all.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
All right.
All right, y'all
Thanks,
have a
people.
blessed
Thank
day.
you. I appreciate y'all
Y'all
taking
too.
time
And
out for
Merry
me.
Christmas, Happy Holidays. all
Merry
that.
Christmas,
Definitely.
happy holidays to the family.
All right, bye-bye.